Number 25, are we on?
Yeah, feels like it.
A lack of ricks. You need a rick to build your deck, says Bryce.
Yeah.
Random inspection checks? Is that what you're calling it?
Fire those guys.
Independent check.
Random independent checks. By independent, do you mean somebody independent?
Yeah.
Somebody who's not emotionally tied or financially invested in this project should look at your deck. Yeah. So I think the point there was like, this is a structure that needs an inspection from time to time. It doesn't need to be every third week. It needs to be like every season, go out and have a look at things and make sure that nothing looks like it's kind of gotten worse over the years. Because a lot of these things that we're talking about here are hidden when you're using the deck, and you can only see them from underneath or doing an inspection. So you need to make a bit of an effort to see when things are starting to go. Like we just talked about the joist falling out the hangers. You would have no idea that that's happening until it's too late if you didn't go under and look. Mm-hmm. Like in his case, the deck boards had dropped on the top of the deck, and he's like, whoa, what's causing that? Go underneath. Oh, nothing other than the whole frame of the deck is falling out from underneath it.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things, the rot, the ledger connection, all these types of things can only be seen by intentionally going and looking for them if it's not too late. And so every spring is a good time to go do it.
So that deck that fell off the house in Regina just now, that would have been impossible to see because they had soffit on there.
Right. They did.
You would never know until you
thing.
hit the ground, and then you'd be like, well, shit.
And I questioned this from that picture from the second I saw it, and I didn't bring it up in the chat because I couldn't confirm nor deny that this was the case. But I don't
politics. Just start throwing.
I don't think there was any drainage system on that.
Nope.
And I've seen this before on these builds that the guys are putting in soffit and thinking that's the drainage system.
Yeah,
sometimes vented, sometimes not.
Not vented yet.
But the water, there has not been any consideration for where that water is supposed to go.
I have some pictures on my phone still, and I have them. And so we could look up, because one of them was the pile of the lumber that was like after it was done, the pile of the material sitting off to the side. And so we might be able to zoom in and see what kind of shape those joists were in. Like they might be completely rotted.
Possibly, yeah. Because they just nailed on that tin soffit.
Dude, if you were the neighbor, what would you do like the next day if you were the neighbor? What's the first thing you would do?
I don't know.
It's not a trick question.
I know, but I was trying to think of something witty, and I was like, what are you trying to say? And
no.
I'd be checking my deck first. To be the logical.
Like I'd rip that soffit off mine. Like, bang. It'd be gonzo.
Yeah.
The soffit would be gone.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that I would even save one panel of it. Yeah. I'd be like, I'm getting under here now to see everything.
And while we're on the topic of doing this soffit in here, there was no barrier between the soffit and the treated lumber either. Nope. So a lot of that tin soffit that you put up there will react with the copper that's in there too. You're supposed to put some Tyvek or paper between it. I didn't see that either. But I didn't see a gutter. So that leads me to think they nailed up that soffit with no regard for the fact that water is going to go into the decking, fall through the decking, and then just like sit in a pool of the soffit and maybe drip out of the vent holes if it was vented and it looked like it might have been. But like, that's not how you're supposed to do that. But I've actually been to a house last year or the year before with a contractor. He's like, can you come out and have a look at this with me? Went out. It was that exact situation. There was a deck with wood deck boards. There was soffit, non-vented soffit on the bottom. And there was water staining down at the house and this is another situation like you just talked about with it was connected on two sides, like the L shape again. And then the concrete pile on the outside had heaved up.
Yeah.
Pushed the corner of that deck up. So now the pitch was back towards the house. Vented soffit was catching all the water, running it back to the house.
Fun.
And then running down the wall.
Fun times.
And then, as they tore the deck off, found there was pot lights in this thing.
Oh, yeah. Holding the water.
Pot lights in a bath of water from the non-vented soffit that was sitting on there. And there was a junction box in a Ziploc bag. I shit you not. I still have pictures of it. There was a junction close to the pot light that somebody had put a Ziploc bag over.
You know what? Here's what we should do.
You want to know what their drainage system was over the lights too? There was a piece of, what was it? Of just poly. Stapled over the joist over top of where the light was underneath.
Not a poly bag?
No, just like vapor barrier.
Like good 6 mil stuff.
Oh, it was good stuff, right? Stapled over like a little 8-inch wide one over top of the light. So that the water couldn't land directly into the light, but just pool around the light.
I think next year, we should just, to hell with this whole deck shop thing. Let's run around and just absolutely slay shitty contractors. Find decks that are built, post pictures of them, and just Who did this? Who did this? Who did this? Find the guy, go to his house. Be like, come here. Yeah. Just like Holmes did, but different than Holmes. And actually put the contractor on blast. Names, pictures of his family, his kids, everybody. Whole thing. Let's go for it. Real live TV.
And get the good contractor some business.
We'll be fighting. There'll be fights.
Anyways,